the first time that you saw a customer smile with Palona? Like, what did that moment feel like?
Yeah, let's go back to Pizza Expo.
Honestly, only you could make pizza and AI go in the same sentence. Welcome to the Evolve Voices podcast, a platform to hear the fascinating stories behind the people that power global commerce. I'm Edilsa, a brand advisor, and your US host of Evolve Voices. Today's story is one of purpose. Maria Zhang has built some of the most beloved digital experiences in the world. Think Google, Tinder, Meta. She's also a two-time founder, now building her latest AI venture, Palona. But beyond the resumes, the acronyms, Maria, she's an engineer with a belief that great software can change lives. From the moment she unboxed her first computer, she's been obsessed with the power of code to inform, connect, delight, and most of all, serve. We talk about designing for delight, a new AI metric she's calling Vibe Revenue, and what pizza, yes, pizza, can teach us about innovation. Because for Maria, even the tiniest pixel or bite deserves a purpose. Maria, welcome to Evolve Voices. I'm so excited to have you here. I've been thinking about this for weeks now since we first rolled around that we were doing this, and we worked together ahead of your Palona launch, which is super fun in January, but there's absolutely nothing like meeting live in person. And so it was such a fun surprise to run into you in Vegas a few weeks ago. I was heading to Shop Talk. You were heading to PizzaCon. And honestly, only you could make pizza and AI go in the same sentence. How was that? Like, I'm just thinking about, it must have been the most niche and event ever that I've heard of. I first heard of it when I was signing into the Fountain Blue, and they were like, "Are you coming here for PizzaCon?" What was the event like?
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, so I think there were actually three major events all happening just up and down the strip in Vegas, right? Where we met was Shop Talk, and there's also a kind of multi-unit franchise conference, kind of in the middle of the strip, and on the other end at the convention center is the Pizza Expo. I actually kind of dipped my toe in all three, so it was very productive, productive and exhausting.
What was
it's
the
amazing.
what was the multi-unit one? I don't think I
I
heard
think it's
about that.
called MUFC or something. Yeah, multi-unit franchise conference. Yeah. And obviously a lot of very successful restaurants are multi-unit franchises, especially in the space of pizza, hamburgers, and so forth. Yeah. But Pizza Expo is a very special event, and actually, for all the listeners, I highly recommend you buy the ticket and go check it out. At least in a once in a lifetime, it's a kind of bucket list thing. It's
Really?
a
Okay.
massive event. With over 10,000 attendees. So
10,000.
I got there early. The show floor is literally a mile long from one end to the other. So I get to witness how it was set up, and they were just so many equipments and construction and ovens were putting in, and just kind of these what are they called? These cars with a forklift in front of them. There are like 50 of those in the convention center inside of it, building up. And then it came to fruition when the show floor opened. Let me tell you, it's the smell and the sound and the happiness. It's truly an amazing place. As we all know, pizza is a very special food for Americans. It's
Very special. For a New Yorker, especially.
exactly. Yeah, it's also it's for family, it's for friends, it's
Yes, yeah.
reminiscing of your college life. It's how your birthday parties, right? Like my kids' birthday parties are always pizza involved, right? At kids' birthday parties, yeah. So just kind of family centered around it. And it's amazing as an industry that it's thriving, right? So year over year, pizza sales in this country is growing, right? And then the other part, it might be a surprise to a lot of people that the pizza industry is actually very technologically advanced, right? They were the first that started in even phone order, right? That back then when phone order was started was advancement. And then they invented the box where you can put the pizza in and it's still hot, right? And they're definitely number one in terms of food delivery, right? In terms of remote ordering, right? From phone to online, right? To, now, with all of this technology all coming together, and it really is an intersection of passion, of food, of technology, of just joy. Yeah. So I feel very fortunate that I have the opportunity to be, part of that event, and I highly recommend it.
I was so drowning with Shop Talk events, so that was the number one thing that I was sad I missed. And you were talking about all the pizza. What was the best pizza you might have had while you were there, or was it just too much food?
Yeah, it's a good question, but it's not a fair question because it really is a food show, right? I know we were there demonstrating our software, the AI agent that can help the pizzerias to be more successful, right? To really drive the top line revenue, not only answer phone calls, but consistently upsell through gentle persuasion and consistently checking in with the customers to make sure they're happy. You really build that loyalty, and then do the proactive outreach, right, to share promotions, awards, and so on and so forth to really, help with the business on the software side. And I believe that, we built a very, very useful tool. But it was a food expo. There was just so much food.
So much.
And of course, pizza. There's also cheese. I love to share the story. So I was there at a booth, and then the booth next door, I walk by a few times a day. Was cheese, right? Importer or exporter, like a cheese from Italy, right? And the first time you walk by, you're curious. Also, I have a weakness for cheese. I love cheese. And they were like, "Come try." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, it's the best cheese ever." And then every time I walk by, they will offer me cheese. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And
I would not be able to turn it down.
right, but
Yeah.
the generosity, right? They know I'm
Oh,
not there
yeah.
to buy. I'm not a buyer. Like it's clear, I'm a vendor at the event. I'm a software vendor. It was very clear, but they still just have that hospitality,
I
the
love that.
generosity, and the sharing, and the caring, and checking on you. Like, yo, I know you like this. Have more.
Yeah.
Like I gained 5 pounds. No kidding. In two
No
days.
kidding. I mean, but I know you like this, have
Yeah.
more is just such a customer first mindset, which I love as a
Yeah.
person who just lives and breathes customers. And I think you said that, which was really funny as I was reading your post, that you may not be able to make the perfect pizza dough, but one thing you do well is cook. And I think you've contrasted that to tech and your passion
Yeah.
for it. And I found that really interesting. You said cooking gives you that sense of completion,
Yes.
and software is never finished. And I
Correct.
found that contrast so powerful. How did you come to link the two for
Yeah.
yourself?
Yeah. So I first started cooking, I think it's just for every family, right? It's kind of the
Yeah.
origin story. My grandma cooked my mom cooked. My mom was less of a cook, and my grandma was the big cook. And that's how, kind of, it's definitely like my
Oh
love
my God,
language,
yeah.
right? Both on the receiving side and now on the giving side. I like to cook for my family, for my friends. And that's where I started. But then the kind of one is you want to perfect, right? You want to do better, right? So I
Yeah.
read a bunch of cooking books, watch a bunch of cooking shows. It's kind of my guilty pleasures, watching all these cooking shows, and then you kind of practice the technique. But then it came together as the work and life, the intersection, right? And I realized that building software, it's all about the never-ending iteration, right?
Mm,
The endless pursuit, right? It's never done. If you say your
it's
software
never
is
done.
done, you're not, right? Uh, but when I cook a meal, I also iterate, improve my techniques, try new recipes. But I love it when the dishes are on the table, and even better when your family or friends have finished everything, and then you're like, oh, that satisfaction I do not
That's
get.
done. Yeah, so I was wondering, is because I obviously also look for hobbies that are opposite for myself. So
Mhm.
I live in ambiguity and then I paint, and it gives me a way to solve complex problems as
Mm,
I go through it. And
yeah.
so, you said it was part of your love language, but
Mhm.
is that how cooking emerged as a passion too? It was almost like a foil to tech, like you're never done, but at least you're done here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It kind of,
Yeah.
I think it also kind of creates us a balance, right? It kind of
Yeah.
grounds me. Yeah, even sometimes I'll have a stressful day and I go home, I'll cook a big meal. Like my
Meal.
friends who, especially who get stressed out about cooking, think I'm crazy. They're like, "You're already stressed out and you're gonna cook this big meal? Like, are you crazy?"
Yeah. Oh my God. But
Yeah.
I probably is so therapeutic. I feel like that's probably
It
why you
is
do it.
therapeutic. It
Oh,
is,
yeah. Yeah.
but there are also a lot of similarities too, right? Because to cook a nice meal together, it actually takes a lot of planning.
Mhm.
You have to do meal plan. You have to get your ingredients. There's like also a little supply chain going on in my fridge. So actually,
I
right
wanna
now,
be in your fridge. Oh my God.
yeah, I actually have this ongoing a meal plan, and so I was like, okay, those are the leftover. What do I have? I need to get more ingredient. You order the ingredient. Now I do everything online. I get my groceries
Yeah. Yeah.
online, so I can just get it done. And it's something I look forward to. And
Oh,
apparently, I'm
yeah.
not the only one. I posted that blog. Like so many of my friends said, "Oh, me too, me too, me too." Yeah.
It's so good. And it's also like some people do a little different. Like I have one of my best friends is a doctor. She's a baker, and it makes so
Mhm.
much sense. It's like, yes, for that she's done, but it's so precise.
Yeah.
It's measurement based cooking. There's a little bit you're
Yeah.
going around the edges, maybe a little bit more seasoning here, but it
Hmm.
doesn't matter if you instead of a quarter teaspoon of cumin, you put half
Hmm.
a teaspoon of cumin.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
what flavor you're looking to do, which is really fun and probably is so nice after a long day of working
Hmm.
code,
Yeah.
and managing it and talking about that code.
Mhm.
I loved your story about your first computer. You talked about
Mhm.
how that was what first energized you and but the
Yeah.
power of tech and how it could change it. I have to ask, are
Yeah.
we talking CD drive back then, dial up?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Like what
Absolutely.
did it look like? Because I just
In the
remember my
early
clunky
90s or
computer. Yeah.
late 80s. Yeah. So it was a
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
other generation. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I think there's also really a contrast, and maybe there, some counterbalance is when I was growing up, computer was very rare and it's scarcity, and my mom had to save up. It cost a significant portion of her salary as a professor
Yeah.
to afford buying a computer, right? A PC,
Yeah.
for me because I begged her and it came up all these excuses. And it kind of planted the seed later on, right? Became a computer scientist and built software professionally. But now the new generation are born surrounded by these digital devices, right? Yeah. So
Mhm.
like the phone, the iPad, right? They're 100 times, 1,000 times more powerful than the desktop PC my mom bought
Yeah.
me, many decades ago, and just kind of the too much and too little, right? Yeah. So I do think there's it's a topic on its own, right? Like
Yep.
for a child, right? Especially my first computer I was already 16, so I was kind of adolescent and have some maturity in high school. But how much is too much, and these digital you know exposure, and then it definitely has an impact, right? But I think
Yeah.
it's
I
to
I mean, I
say
can't remember.
what that impact
I
was.
don't remember my first time booting up a computer, but do you like what was it like unboxing it,
Hmm.
like plugging it in? I just remember dial up. That's
Yeah.
like my biggest thing of remembering
Yeah.
from it. But like, do you have any early memories from it?
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
have very, very vivid memory, and the computer is in the living room, and there wasn't internet yet. It didn't have dial-up. You just plug in the power
Yeah.
source,
Yeah.
and then of course I want to play games. I want to mess around with the computer. It comes with a disk. You put the disk
Yeah.
in,
Yeah.
you
Disc
load
in.
up your program, and you wait, and you kind of do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that where your love for technology first began? And was that the genesis, or was it even earlier for you?
I think that was a turning
Yeah.
point because I
Yeah.
was always a curious child, but my till that moment, if we're doing an essay at school or something like, oh, what do you want to do? And I think I
Yeah.
just had random answers like, oh, I want to be a journalist or I want to be a writer and that kind of thing, right? But way, I'm writing, right? I'm writing cold. It is not too
You
far.
are, so it all comes back. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I wanted to be a writer, and my mom
Mm.
always wanted me to be an educator, which I think it was early on a little bit of disappointment to her that I didn't become an educator. Like she just loved what she had been doing all her life as a teacher, as an educator, as a professor. But now, if you work with me, I do teach. I'm like,
Oh,
I give
yeah.
unsolicited. I'm like coaching everybody. I'm always like interviewing people. So it does, you see, it all come
It all
back.
comes
Yeah,
back together, and that's so beautiful.
yeah.
And I just feel like what you just mentioned, it came from your mom, who was a professor. Is that where that curiosity came from? Was that a family value?
I, uh, I'm not sure, but definitely reading a lot, right?
Yeah.
Like that kind
Yes.
of behavior, right? Definitely. Uh, uh, I never thought about it, but probably, right?
Yeah.
Kind of we mimic the behavior, right? Like my mom is
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
reading. Yeah.
Yeah. Did
Yeah.
you have to fix anything in that computer that you got that was why you became a fixer of code, if so to
Yeah,
speak? Or, yeah.
everything. I think I broke it many times.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh, it's so good. How
Yeah,
did
and
you
then
break it? Were you?
yeah, just I think just the desire to create something, right? To
Yeah.
give the computer instructions. I remember I actually started with Hello World, right? Kind of very it's very cliche, but it's Hello World, right? You start with Hello World and you try to make the computer to do more. I remember I built the tic-tac-toe was kind of a thing I wrote. And I was like, oh, I can play
Tic-tac-toe.
tic.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah, you play
And
against the
what's the
computer.
mind game that we have to like that you like the bomb? Why
Minesweeper.
am I forgetting? Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
Minesweeper. They came with a PC.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh my
Minesweeper.
gosh, that is so good. But like that's where it all started. And it's so funny that you talk about you being a disappointment at first to becoming an engineer because your career speaks for itself. I mean, you're a creator at the heart. You filed 13 patents at Yahoo. When I saw that, I was just like, wow, like innovation at heart. You joined Instagram right as it launched Reels, arguably one of the most known products
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
last decade.
yeah.
What does it feel like to build something now used by billions,
Hmm.
and to iterate on it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely is a blessing. I'm very grateful. I was given the opportunity to join an amazing team at Instagram,
Yes.
and then back then, competing with TikTok. I mean, till today,
Yes.
right? It's
Yeah. I
competitive,
mean,
and
yeah.
it's and Facebook, or now called Meta, is a very competitive company, and they really, have this sense of meritocracy. We're going to do better. We're going to do
Yeah.
faster. Very intense company, and absolutely a very strong team. Yeah. So it's teamwork, right? I feel like I was humbled to be a member on that team.
Yep.
And often I feel that I'm not qualified, right, to lead a very
Yeah.
large team of all these brilliant people, right?
Yeah.
But from a leadership perspective, I absolutely subscribe to the servant leadership. I feel
Leadership.
like my job is to serve my team and make everyone on the team successful, right? If I could
Yeah.
contribute to their success, then that's my goal. Yeah.
I absolutely love that when I ask that question, you turn back to the team because that is your leadership at practice. You're talking about these are the people like that you felt the impact to with.
Yeah.
And so many people take that question, they're like, okay, customer, how did it feel? But at the end of the day, these are the people who built the product,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
which is so beautiful. And at the same time, you talked about how you came in, you inherited this team. It must have felt like being handed the keys to like a rocket ship.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
mid-flight, but like, what was it like walking into that at first when I think Reels launched that summer, you came in later that fall. Like, what did that feel like?
Yeah, yeah. And it really is, like I said, I was fortunate. It's a very strong team,
Yeah.
right, in place, right? And so at first you need to think about don't break it, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not broken. Don't fix something that's not broken, right? And definitely the team was not broken at all. It was a very excellent team. And I feel like, it's also in the middle of COVID. I remember we're just
Yes.
doing all these phone calls and everyone was so helpful trying to get me up to speed, try to get me onboarded. And then eventually I get a chance to meet everybody on my team in person. I still remember the excitement.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
one of the funny story, one of the team member, I finally had to meet with him. We had to meet outside, because it was the protocol. And we had like probably like 100 meetings on Zoom face to
And Zoom,
face.
yeah.
So of course on Zoom we're all the same height. We're always at eye level. In real life, he's very tall. Like I'm looking at his chest.
Did I project taller or shorter when you met? Like, or was I like what you expected
Yeah,
when we met?
I think you're what I expect. We're
Okay,
about the
okay,
same height,
good. Yeah,
so we're
yeah,
still at eye level.
yeah. We're still at.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. I
Yeah.
actually had that same thing happen with somebody on my team,
Yeah.
and I thought they were really short. And they walked in, and I was like, "What? You're taller than me? I don't understand this. I thought we were eye level." And so it's so funny. You said that you like didn't want to break things. When you walk into things like that as a new leader, how do you gain that trust? Are you just, putting in meetings, just getting to know the culture and not really like rocking the boat? Or like, how do you establish that trust?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
First, you have to listen, right?
Yeah.
I think it's easier said than done. When people talk about communication, everybody understand communication skills is important for as
Yeah.
part of the leadership, a very important part of leadership skills. But people often miss the listening part and just try to talk, right? So, yeah, I think number one is, like I said, I'm organically a very curious person, so I think I did my listening tour. I had a lot of one-on-ones, I had office hour. I think I did a lot of listening. And for me, it's just I'm very blessed and grateful. Every conversation, I learned something, right? I learned
Yeah.
something new. And I am also someone who really values relationships, right? I actually still keep relationships with a lot of these people on my team
Amazing.
today, right? Yeah. So I guess that just kind of where I started, right? I didn't start from a position to insert authority or anything like that or give
Yeah.
people instructions. No, all I did was asking questions and listen, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
sometimes asking questions, it's all you need sometimes, right? If you know
Yes.
where you ask a question, you also encourage your team to think through, right? And then and to also just facilitate the team building, right? Get the team members and get all of us to collaborate more, to learn from each other more. Yeah, I think that's pretty much what I focused on and what I did. And like I said, I was very fortunate. It was a great team. So just,
Yeah.
great memories looking
Yeah.
back. Yeah.
I think one of the things I'm most grateful for in my time at Amazon is my appreciation of engineers and product teams. I think about Reels and the absolute crazy endeavor that must have been. It lived everywhere. It lives in Explore, it lives in the feed, it lives in stories. That must take a lot of integration, ranking systems, audio infrastructure, whatever you name it. Was that what made it harder than maybe expected, or was it something else? It's like, was there a feature that stands out to you that was like, man, that really stuck, that was really difficult?
Yeah, like you said, all of it is difficult, and particularly the scale, right? The
Yeah.
scale of it, and then you have to build something that works for everyone. And from a system infrastructure perspective, right, it has to be secure, it has to be safe, I have to
Yes.
serve these high concurrency requests, and then it's a business, we have to run monetization through it. Yeah, so it really takes an army. There are thousands of people kind of
Oh, yeah.
contributing to the different elements and different aspects of the overall success of the product, and also just fierce competition, right?
Yes. Yeah.
It's that makes it more interesting and more
Yeah.
challenging and more
Yeah.
rewarding at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I think through how you need to pressure test what ideas make through or not. Is there a framework or mental model you kind of come back to when you're deciding, is this worth it? Is this technically feasible? Like, how do you think through that?
Yeah. There are two different questions, right? Is it worth it, right? Like right now, at this startup, we're building here at Palona, and we have a research team, right? There are a lot of computer scientists. I would say, like, a good portion of my team has computer science PhDs and well-published researchers. And one of my co-founder, Professor Liu, he's a renowned computer scientist in the field, right? So there's a lot of just naturally, that attraction to just look at it from a science perspective. Yeah.
Right.
What can we improve? What can we tweak? Right. But then to answer your first question, right, what makes a product viable? You have to create real value, right, and commercial value as well, right? Mm-hmm. So we are a 2B2C company, meaning we serve businesses that serve consumers. Yeah, and we're in the kind of front of the office. We're directly customer facing. We're directly facing consumers. This AI agent, right? So one is the AI solution effective? You're bringing business value, right? Like I said, for pizzeria, I think I can drive the average value of order. We can drive the frequency of order that translates to upside of revenue. Yeah. And the other side is it will make the operations more smooth and seamless because you never need to wait for AI, and the AI doesn't get sick and can work 24/7, can serve 5,000 customers all at once, right? So both on the top line and then on the bottom line to increase operational efficiency, that's the business value, right? You have to put your product through that test. Right. Mm-hmm. And you might be surprised if you look at a lot of the startups and you say up and down, and even they've raised a lot of money and they kind of fade away. It's because the value was never there. It was interesting, but then kind of you didn't really drive the real value. So that's one. And then if it's consumer facing, and there's also I call delightfulness, right? Do people enjoy using it? Do you just bring that little bit of delight, right? I think that's something that's very important to me. And my team here, and we've worked on like Instagram, and some of my team members worked at TikTok and YouTube. Like, it's all bringing that little delight, right? And then the delight will bring purchases and value and business value, right? Yeah. So you kind of create a virtuous cycle for your customers. Yes. And then on the other side is feasibility, right? We recently did a benchmark, right? You can say, oh, the AI can answer the phone call, can test, can do the order now, and we were the first one, to my knowledge, that published the accuracy test, right? Benchmark,
95,
right? And we didn't, but we didn't start at 95, right? It took us a long time to get to 95, right? Because if you get the orders wrong, and they're gonna call and they say, you missed my salad, you didn't get the right dressing, and you have to give a refund. And then you have to have someone take care of the customer that's upset, or they go online, write a negative review about your restaurant, and going back, then it hurts that business value, right? Yes, so you have this hypothesis of, oh, that's all sounding great, but are you at 95% accuracy? Are you actually bringing that delight? It's experiential, it's sentimental. So we're actually expanding the benchmark. We started with accuracy, but we're actually going to add these other elements. Like I said, is it experiential, sentimental, is it secure, is it trust? And it gets harder and harder, right? To measure these things, you actually need AI to measure AI through simulation.
That is funny. Oh my gosh.
Assessments. Yeah.
That is so funny. When do you know that is on those parameters you talked about? Is it worth it? Is it technically feasible? Mm-hmm. Does it offer delight? That it's time to let go. Like, maybe it's not the time. Like, let's build something else. Is there something you think through there?
100%. Yeah. We've let go a lot of ideas too, right? Sometimes I say it's harder to say no, easier to say yes, but it's when you say no, it's actually more impactful, So what not to do, both
Yeah.
as a startup and also in life as well, right? We gotta learn to
Yeah.
say no, no to that third glass of wine. So,
Yeah, that is definitely where we need to assert ourselves. Assert was actually my word of the year for last year, so I definitely it's so like important to know that
Mhm.
boundary, and it
Mhm.
allows you to live in the moment of the yes,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
and really like bring those home and what actually matters, right?
Mhm.
As opposed to be drowning in noise.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think what's interesting, you started to allude about where your love for technology is.
Mhm.
And you've been building AI products like the Tinder Smart Photos since before the current
Yeah.
hype. What did you see then that others didn't?
Mm. Yeah.
Mhm.
Uh, Yeah, that's also a product at Tinder. It's such a funny brand. I think just people
Yeah.
hear the name, they will smile.
Yeah.
And I've worked at all these jobs, but most frequently asked is about Tinder. Yeah, so
I mean,
the
it's every.
algorithm, the experience,
Yeah. Yeah.
and um, I actually gave a talk on this. I call it like it's a search. It's a very technical. It's a technical conference. I think at Elasticon, and I broke it down. People are swiping. They're like, oh, "This is fun," but it's actually behind the scene. It's a lot of complexity in technology. I say technology is kind of like iceberg. You see a little very minimalist
Yeah.
user interaction, but you hide all the complexity, underneath, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the more minimalist the user experience is, actually, the more complexity, underneath the system
It
is.
is.
Yeah. So it's a real time search engine that's location based, deeply personalized, and then it has multimodality. It's not just the search on keywords.
Yeah.
It's visual, right? It's visual. It's very
Right.
visual. Yeah. So I was collaborating with Professor Liu back then. He took a sabbatical and he was the chief scientist at Tinder. So a lot of these innovation, like Smart Photo, won the Innovation Award of the Year, and it was through this collaboration and this partnership and the friendship we built that led to Palona today, and we're
Oh
still
my
working
gosh, that's so
together.
funny bringing it
Yeah,
up. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Is that, I mean, was the, having that science behind what's going on, not just, the customer behavior, is that how you spotted like the importance of AI, even like, you even founded a Like Your Company, a
Yeah.
mobile app, location based. You've just been working on this customer behavior stuff for a really long time.
Yes.
And how
Yeah.
do you, I just want to know, how do I spot things like that before? Like, how do you,
Mm.
are you just going into the research? Are you reading into the current trends?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, that's a good question. I call it a sensitivity, right?
Mm.
And sensitivity is also something we can develop and
Hmm.
kind of refine, right? Kind of you see where the puck is going, just kind of have the sensitivity of either it's a technical evolution, or it is a new trend, or it is a consumer behavior change, right? And so I think it does come from experience,
Experience, yeah.
but and maybe it also kind of I think curiosity also leads to that sensitivity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then and I took some risk, made the bets, right? Like when I think iPhone 4 came out, I quit my job at Microsoft. I
I
was
think.
doing well, I was supporting a large team. It was doing also working on relevance. It was also in a related field, but I was like, no, I'm gonna because mobile is the future, right? And it did became the primary, kind of the consumer computing device, right? That was back in 2010. I wasn't that ahead of
Yeah.
the wave, but I think when iPhone came out, I was like, this is the future. And then I kind of rode
Yeah.
that wave and sold my startup to Yahoo. And then Tinder was also riding that wave, right?
Yeah.
Mobile computing devices and changed how people discover each other, interact with each other, and then it kind of Instagram as another extension. But it was definitely very clear to me generative AI. So it's the same word, artificial intelligence, but it is different technology, right? That's based on the foundation of transformer. The models become a lot larger, and the models become highly generative, and also is fully cross modality, right? Meaning it can understand words, image, video, sound, audio, all together. That's for
All
cross
together, yeah.
modality. Yeah. So I just this is more than like a sensitive hint. This is loud and clear. So it's loud and clear. And then Steve, Tim, and I, the three of us, both as technologists, just saw this gap, right?
Yeah.
And we were all at big tech companies, and we saw how powerful, how amazing, how much value this technology is bringing, right, to the tech companies. And then we were like, how about we bring this technology to pizzerias, right? And these smaller businesses, and they're not going to hire a bunch of computer science PhDs to build applications. How about we bring this technology, through very seamless turnkey integration, but they can also benefit, right, from this evolution. Yeah.
I think it's so funny that you connect Tinder to Palona, this new AI company you're talking about, because I think what's so the greatest line when we were working together that you used is you learned from Tinder that technology's job is not just to connect, but it's to entertain, it's to delight, and and that's what you're doing with Palona, but. I'm so curious about, was it there that you learned that lesson at Tinder, or was it before? I just think that's actually so powerful, because so many people talk about, but does it work? But you're saying, let's start first. Are you having fun? And I'm just so curious about where that started.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I was fortunate. I worked at these, very excellent companies, and I think these principles were carried through all of these companies, right? And I was at Microsoft. This is like you probably don't even remember. They had the butterfly guy, right? And we were digitizing news, right? But I also saw of course, it's very important to inform the society. And now we kind of had to go, now there's misinformation all over. But back then, it was like, okay, let's digitize news, make it personalized, make it real time, put it in everybody's hands. And, but it also comes with, delight, right? And the branding was this silly butterfly guy roaming around. It just made you laugh, right? Yeah. So I think it was actually, very consistent. Like every successful company I worked at, they all shared, these similar, philosophies, right? I never worked at Amazon, but I do use Amazon like almost every day. Too much. You probably could share. Did Amazon also share that philosophy of like you want to bring moments of delights, right? Even the logo is right?
Yes, it's so fun. And what I find is it's often hard to sell, right? And because people think of that utility and that efficiency of a product. So how do you actually explain to people that fun is actually the wedge? It's what eventually drives that sale, that result. How do you explain that to people?
Yeah, I do think it's what sets great companies from okay companies, right? That's what sets apart, right? Like Amazon as an example, and it's also very cohesive, right? The logo is a smiley face, and then just that, you want to be delivered like next day delivery because it makes me happy, right? Like just that, like extra, like I'm doing extra. I'd probably be okay if it's delivered 3 days, 4 days from now. Like some of the other e-commerce companies are still delivered a few days later. But I know Amazon, like when I get a package next day, it makes me smile, right? So I think
it's that stickiness.
I think the company has to have that ambition to not settle for mediocre, but aim for the best, right? Like we want to be a great company, not just an okay company, right? A great company, you have to go that extra mile to really to bring that smile.
Tell me about the first time that you saw a customer smile with Palona. Like, what did that moment feel like?
Yeah, let's go back to Pizza Expo.
Yeah.
And we're not the only company that offers the voice and text to AI, but I do think we offer both voice and text in a very seamless transition. It seems like our competitors, some are very focused on voice and they've been doing voice for a long time, and a couple newer companies that all they do is text, right? Because it's actually hard to manage voice and text seamlessly together because you have to manage memory. And you have to understand sessions, right? Because text and voice, the session definition is completely different. Yeah, so there's a reason very few company, no one on top of my head that does like what we do with voice and text seamlessly together. And then the second part is not just a robot answering pepperoni and mushroom, but it's a character, right? So my favorite pizza my heart. You've been to a Pizza My Heart store, right? It's Surfer's Pizza. And they have these TV ads. Oh my God, the TV ads age so well. It just, even 2025, you watch a TV ads, you're like, this is hilarious. This is fun. Like the surfer Jimmy came out of the water saying, it's all natural. Let's have some pizza, have some fun on the beach. Yeah. So you get to talk with Jimmy, right? This character. And then he will say, I'm stoked to help you. And you just see people are smiling. Yeah. When they're like talking to Jimmy and you can ask Jimmy to tell you a joke and he would. And we have another character named Angelo, and so Jimmy is West Coast California surfer, right? Angelo is New York pizzeria, right? He will say like like it's the best food ever, like it's just that you can just envision that character. And we had a screenshot of when we first built Angelo based on this kind of the New Yorker, and he would say, oh, this is freaking hot. This is freaking. I was like, okay, let's remove freaking. He knows not to swear, but he was like just using.
He was trying to cut around the edges.
And then I mean, people are just talking with these agents even right now. Not everyone talks to Jimmy Pizza My Heart ordered pizza, right? And it's not a bad thing, right? Because maybe they're just not hungry. Maybe they just want to chat with Jimmy. But I believe if you're just chatting with Jimmy for fun, when you're hungry for pizza, you will go to Jimmy and order pizza.
I love that. The idea of talking to somebody that feels like home for me would be an Italian, right? As I'm going through and trying to understand, are you giving me double cheese? Is it a flat piece of pizza? Is it sloppy enough to make the cut? That makes it so enjoyable. And I personally saw it, like, I think when I saw the joy of Palona for one of your customers, it was, they actually tilted back and started laughing as they were like, this is so fun. And like that, you can't bottle that, that emotion when you're seeing somebody just have such joy. And that's what makes you fall in love with tech. And I think that's what probably keeps you up every night.
Absolutely. Keep me energized.
So
keeps you energized. I remember I showed you that video last year. Right now, we cut that video just to a shorter version and I put it on the website. People ask me, say, "Oh, did you hire actors?" I said, no, it was a user study. It was not a marketing video, but people were just laughing and they were like, "Oh, do I have to say please?" Like they were just having so much fun. Playing and interacting with the agent. So we did a collage of these reactions. We call it surprise and delight. That's definitely what we're aiming for. Going back to being ambitious, we don't want to settle for okay company. We want to be a great company. We want to deliver the very best experience, right, to all of our customers and their customers. So it makes this journey long and hard.
I think they were super young too. That they were Gen Z border alpha.
Gen Z,
I can't even tell you, like, and I thought, like, what was so fun is that the fun was, I think, that they could see what's possible. Like, maybe this is how we're going to be able to shop in the future, and which I think is exactly the what you want to bottle when you're talking about this. But I think you married that excitement with what you call intentional growth. And I love this term that you use, which is vibe revenue. Like, it doesn't have to be fast.
We're the anti-vibe revenue.
Yeah, can you like talk about this anti-vibe? I think more people should know about it because it's the growing intentionally, growing the right way. And so I would
It's totally a new term. So I think I'm being talk like a influencer. So
yes, you are.
First started with vibe coding, with Copilot and so forth, and you're just like, I'm just like vibe coding. I'm not even writing code. I'm just giving instructions. So the AI is doing code. It's kind of, you're listening to music. You're kind of having fun. So it started as vibe coding. I was like, sure, that's good. Yeah. And then it became vibe revenue. And I explained whether it's a new term, but this phenomenon existed before. It's fast revenue, right?
Yeah.
You put out a tool, right? I'm going to help you to do something. And then you pay me $5, $10, and subscription, typically consumer, like prosumer based, right?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'm going to pay. Yeah. And then you see with this enabling technology of generative AI, and just a lot of companies with very few very small team, like typically no sales, no marketing, and then just they create buzz, right? They create kind of a reality around this, and people can just, let me try this, let me try, right? And then boom, you're from 0 to 5 million ARR in like 5 months, right? Yeah. So honestly, it's really just giving me anxiety, and a lot of it because we're not at 5 million ARR in 5 months. And that I think it also is giving a lot of VCs anxiety too, because they're not raising money, right? Because they invest very little and they see very fast revenue come in, then there's no reason to raise VC money. And so I just couldn't help but to write this. It's like, sure, vibe revenue is great, right? But it's but it often it's very kind of pattern wise, right? You see cancellation, competitors come in, you don't have a lot of pricing power, or OpenAI released this for free, and then we can't do this no more, right? But it's okay, and they will move on to do something else and do more vibe revenue. But that's not what we're doing. It's not my personality. I'd like to build something that's enduring, right? That's competitive, that creates this kind of virtuous positive loop, right? And kind of the more and the more and the more, right? And then I also said enterprise sales is not dead, last I checked. So we're, enterprise sales is not like they're going to give me their credit card and pay me $10 a month. We're going to sit down. We're going to talk about MSAs, so the master service agreement. We're going to talk about security and privacy and compliance. And we're going to talk about terms and SLAs. And then we'll sign contract. This is the traditional enterprise model, but it's still thriving.
Yeah. I imagine part of that anti-vibe revenue is what you talked about earlier, is finding the right segment. Pizza shops being these early adopters of Palona. And I think, why do you think they got it early? And what could other industries even learn from their mindset as you go along?
Yeah. So it's two sides. One is just kind of the DNAs and the legacy and the tradition. I think this industry always had moved forward. And the other reason is because it's highly competitive, right? You have to leverage technology to stay competitive. And of course, the third thing is that the industry overall is still growing. It's competitive, but it's growing as a whole, right? And a lot of smart people working in the industry. So just kind of, and also big brands like Domino's and such, and they're kind of showing the way. Domino's actually released the voice AI experience, and so it just kind of, and then the other part, of course, is as any product is, are you solving a problem, right? And then I do think it's more acute. The pain is more acute, right? My phone is ringing, no one is answering, or it goes to some call center overseas, is in the middle of the night somewhere, and people don't know, it's just not a good experience, right? Versus have this very human-like, very high EQ, always upsell person to take care of all of your orders. And the other thing is just the nature of the business. A majority of pizza are sold through remote ordering, right? A phone call, and now we're trying to introduce text, and you can also order on a mobile web. It's just that's how this particular type of food is served.
Yeah, I think those signals that you talked about, high competition, do you want to innovate? Do you want, I think sometimes industries conflate the customers wanting the best experience, but them not wanting to try. And I think sometimes customers want to be a part of it. They're like, we just talked about the user study. They're giving input. They're helping you grow. So I don't just think it's having the right partners, it's having the right customers who want to build along with you and help you see this thing through and create that excitement. I'm so excited for Palona. I think the next time I won't miss this pizza con that when you go.
You. Oh, you
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think something funny that as I looked through your resume, I was like, Microsoft, LinkedIn, Zillow, Meta, Tinder. I'm missing some, fill in the blank, your own companies, not only Palona, but alike. You could have retired if you wanted to, but you didn't. And I'm sure there's some other senior leaders in that boat where you come in, you've met a lot of amazing experiences, and now you're wondering what's next. Like, what did you think through as you were thinking of your what's next and pivots?
Yeah, it's a good question. I thought about retiring, but I think primarily it's because I love what I do, and I just couldn't be happier doing what I'm doing every day, right? And then the other thing, I don't really have hobbies or whatever. I don't know what to do. I don't have golf. I don't golf. Yeah, so I think I would just be bored out of my mind and go crazy. And so I really gave myself the permission to do what I wanted to do, right? And for some people, it's retirement. That's great, right? For me, it's building software, bringing these moments of delight, bring a group of amazing people together. I just love my team. I go to work every day, feel like I'm hanging out with my friends. Yeah,
that's great. That's awesome.
That's a very good. I can tell you that's a very good feeling. Yeah.
What were you going through when you were mulling that retirement? What was the list is it that you were going through and being like, okay, do I do something new? Do I sit in this? Was there some questions you were asking yourself?
Yeah, it was very easy. And also I have a great mentor that coached me and said, just give yourself permission to do whatever you want. Don't pigeonhole, say I'm a retiree, so I do what retiree, just do whatever you want. So I definitely dabbed into a bunch of stuff. I invested in startups. And I'm not an investor, I'm a builder. Two is I traveled a little bit. Travel is overrated. I'm like,
I love it. You were like crossing everything off the list.
And then I carried my laptop. I started tinkering around. I started talking to Steve. I started talking to Tim, and we came together. Yeah, we built this company. That's what we wanted to do. Yeah.
I think it makes so much sense because, as you said, curiosity. You just kind of went through the thread. And came to Palona, which is really, really fun.
Yeah. I also thought about opening a restaurant. Let's not forget that.
You did? Oh my gosh.
Designer. I can send you a link you can click through. It's all virtual, of course, right? But I stopped at virtual. It was like real world restaurant I cannot do.
Tell me a little bit more about this. Did it connect to what you were saying before with cooking that you loved?
I love
cooking for big families and everything. Was it going to be Asian food? Was it not?
It's going to be fusion.
Fusion, because your husband's Colombian.
Yeah, fusion, farm to table. Because
fun fact, Maria's husband is Colombian, which I think is so fun. Would it have been a fusion of Colombian and Chinese?
Absolutely. It'd definitely be fusion. It'll definitely have some Latino food, Mexican food, all of it together. And then of course we're in California with all these amazing ingredients and people and chefs. Yeah, so it's a fantasy.
Don't spill all your secrets because you might come back to this. You might come back.
Don't be surprised, and you might in fact say, Marie, you said it was a fantasy.
But not anytime soon because we first have to see Palona through, which is really fun and exciting. And as people listen to this, I'm sure they'll want to find you. Where can they find you?
Oh, just go to palona.ai or connect me on LinkedIn. So I love to chat and share more stories.
Yeah, I every time I sit down with you, I learn something new. So talk about you being a servant leader and teaching people. Here I am learning again and again. I think you're helping people reframe what success looks like too, which is fun, is startups to selling them off, motherhood to having this career momentum. I think you give us this permission to rethink what our path could look like, which is fun, and what you call a jungle gym of a career. So I'm excited to cheer you on both in and out, and continue to see Palona and more evolve.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank
Of
you
course,
for having me.
Thank you so much.
Now make sure you subscribe to Evolve Voices, this leading and incredible project where our ambassadors are interviewing amazing professionals from all over the world so they can share their perspective and benefit you with their perspective, their knowledge, and you can understand what's happening in the different markets. Evolve Voices is a project part of the Evolve Commerce Club, the #1 and leading community where we connect international professionals in the world of commerce. We are now connecting professionals in more than 40 markets, and every week we invite an expert to share their perspective and their knowledge. So if you'd like to know more, you can always look at the comments. We have a link there so you can request your application, and stay tuned for the next episode. Thanks for watching. All the best. Ciao.